ever come back. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. We can ride high, we can ride low. We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shades. Letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, outside, winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we roll, this is how we do. It's not for everybody but the chosen few. And we pray, cause we know that they might not ever come back. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. I got my slime like Carson Macedo, and they growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. I'm just a lap car trying to survive. There's a black 2041 guy adding to the junk in the field with some white on white crimes. Or is it 99 maybe? I don't give a damn, but the bank statements lately adding up through the junk that the crazy man's making. Reckon her, reckon him, non-binary maybe, who knows? If I don't like him, I slide him like Carson Macedo, and they can growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Carson Macedo. And I don't know where we go from here and what we think about it, but it seems to me, gotta be about it. Time for talk and speak comes across this week, especially when dotting I's and crossing T's. It seems to be what they all want and what they need. And then you'll go, oh, oh no, just like them cars. Down one he goes, and then they get to finally feel like Carson Macedo. If I don't like him, I slide him like Carson Macedo, and they can growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Carson Macedo. If I don't like him, I slide him like Carson Macedo, and they can growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, princess, yeah, oh man, with that body riding, late model princess, yeah. We don't play around, yeah, that ain't no doubt. We just send it in the corner, live, live it out. No, them Fender girls don't understand it all, yeah. Ain't no hesitate, but we just make it pay. Paint them cushions in those corners, no it isn't safe. But for my sake, will you save it all? Cause you'll do the same to my heart, yeah. Late model princess got me going crazy. Yeah, she got them wings and never wing it down. Late model princess, yeah, she makes me listen with that dirty air that got you hot and bottom. Late model princess, yeah. Oh man, with that body riding. Late model princess, yeah. See, I like to dance, you know what you are, I know what I am. You a little late model star, and I'm a spring comment. You float the middle size, I'ma take your time and blow it. I'm a little bit of ghetto with that, send it then you'll know it. And I gotta get to going now, gotta catch me that eye. My mode is always fly to die, it's all the seize the moment's time. But while the clock keeps ticking by, you keep on talking on my mind. I'm contemplating situations where you could be all of mine, cause you're that late model princess, got me going ticky-tack-rah. Yeah, with the speed and the wonder. Bell's Beach and the one girl. Ready, rip. Praying to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. I'm ready to rip. Coming correct. A fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking and set. Indian honest. Wearing my Hans and strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey, jump on that track. Ready to roll.
Oh my. Oh my.
I'm playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal, peace with the soul, don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up though, don't trip, gotta go. Take a slip.
Do we look like an idiot, Sean?
Put it down the gas for show.
No. No, not an idiot. We're in the light. Hold on.
Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speed
what about now? Do we look like an idiot?
With the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion. Love turning all
gang, bang, bang. Like Cactus Jack. Fuck up. Oh my, we're catching the real shit here, ladies and gentlemen. Answer your text. What does my text even say? Is it a woman? Can I call to tell you I'm wearing the late model Princess shirt? No. What do y'all want from me? What do y'all want from me? Oh my God, guys. That's why I roll with God. Middle finger, y'all. Making trust in your clicks with your demigod. Ladies and gentlemen, Day was cowboy up tonight. Day was the only guy in the building working. No, I'm just playing. So we will turn this down. The ready to rip is off, ladies and gentlemen. The ready to rip is off. As you could tell up here on the screen, there is a very important Broke Joe race on right now. The Flow Racing NARC series is at Antioch, and this is huge. Joe may live tomorrow, he may die tomorrow, but whatever is happening here in this race, and of course, Meta AI predicted that Broke Joe will lead, Broke Joe, basically Justin Sanders is Broke Joe's like godchild. Justin Sanders, Meta AI said that Justin Sanders will win or lead every single lap. We do have Sean here. I know some people in the chat were asking for Sean. Sean is here. He is currently in the background right now. He wants to watch this race. I want to watch this race as well. That is the issue. We'll go to the chat right now. We'll see what y'all are saying in the chat. NARC feature is on the track. Sanders starts fourth. This is true. Corey Day wins High Limited. Anthony Macri wins World of Outlaws. This is factual as well. I want to be able to call, bro. We're gonna try to do the calls, but we're also not gonna take any more bullshit. If we get these prank calls that come in, I'm shutting the shit down, and we're gonna blame Brian Hubert as to why we cannot have calls anymore. Chaz, hold on. We'll go back to this guy's original comment. The Chaz, have you ever thought of doing commentary on World of Outlaws and or High Limit while the event is going on? You could do sort of an alternate commentary track. I mean, I'm better than Johnny Gibson, definitely better than Chase Rodman. They should hand the keys over to me. But like I said over here, World of Outlaws want puppets, not entertainers. High Limit wants dogs. Eat from my bowl or die. That's how I see it. That's how it always works, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it always works. Y'all want to call? They're pushing off the A main right now. They're pushing off the A main. Can we get through the topics we want to discuss before the A main goes green? I am down for this challenge. because I would like to get into your chats and what you people think. But we have to get into the topics and get through them very quickly if we want to obtain that goal. So we did want to review the DIRTRACKR watch party that they had. Of course, a lot of people believe that the Chaz and DIRTRACKR should be working together. Even commenters, we screenshotted it in the thumbnail. They believe that DIRTRACKR should be doing these streams for free every week, as the Chaz sits there in the chat and just runs his mouth, because we were doing some amazing things. I don't know who was in the chat tonight as this was going on. I'm not a real chatter most of the time, but we were doing some amazing things in this chat. It was absolutely amazing, the things that we were saying about Macri stealing David Gravel's helmet, etc., to have the advantage tonight. Of course, Anthony Macri won the race. But something that was funny, I know it says 15,000 views right here, but it was actually around 4,000 viewers that were watching the race live tonight on YouTube. They're up to 15,000 now. When I looked at the Facebook view count, it was at about 800. Obviously, that went up since the moment I looked at it. The views for the live broadcast are now at 64,000. And then, of course, on Twitter, they did a broadcast as well, which you can't see that because Twitter is trash. But they only had, like, I think 1,400 at one point. So around 7. Oh, my God. Somebody just flipped. Hold on. Breaking news. Breaking news. I'm not lying. Who's flipped? Somebody just flipped before they went green at the NARC race in Antioch. Who is this? Fucking shit all over the track. Who is this? Who, is that Sanders? We're about to find out who it was, sir. Somebody has flipped before the race has went green in Antioch. It does look like it is Justin Sanders. It is Justin Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. Meta AI is incorrect. Justin Sanders is walking towards somebody. He has walked away now. Helmet is up. Wow. This is a huge turn of events. I know that the people who may be watching this later and y'all don't care, this is happening live right now, just like the chat with the Chaz and everything in the FREEvision. Justin Sanders, according to Meta AI, was supposed to win this race. He is upside. The car is on its side, right? Is this a cartel hit, Sean? Sean's over here. He's going to make his way over soon. Who is that girl right there? I'm not into skinny girls, but oh my, Sean, I'm going to get in trouble if I keep talking. Justin Sanders is being tipped back over right now. A little bit of a bent wing. What just happened here, folks? This is breaking news live on the show. The NARC, King of the West, badass, the best driver in the world who doesn't have a ride, just flipped before the race has begun. This is breaking news. You even have IMCA officials trying to pack the track in. Guys, we got to go to the chat now. I was just trying to run through stuff. Justin Sanders is upside down right now on the track. We are about to get a live update. Broke Joe threw a basketball on the track. Somebody said Broke Joe caused this. Date says Broke Joe caused this. I mean, this is back to that karma, right, Sean? I'll call it God. God, you want to come and talk all your shit to the Chaz? You want to come run your mouth to the Chaz? Floods, rainouts, and now fucking race cars on the side of their ass on the side of the track. What is going on? What just happened here, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all tell me. Justin Sanders is immediately upside down before the A-main has begun. We got a replay coming right here. Hold on. The replay's not saying or showing much. It looks like it was a single car incident. He hit the wall on his own. Throttle stuck, we're hearing from Sean. The car is being pushed to the infield with a broken front wing, a dented top wing. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. He is being pushed to the work area. Justin Sanders, right now in the NARC King of the West event at Antioch, is being pushed after flipping on lining up laps, after being busted off. Front nose wing destroyed. Top wing, you could probably put a fucking sledgehammer if Ripper's around to it and straighten it out, but the field has went back to red. They're looking at the wall. I guess Justin Sanders went into this concrete barrier wall you see here at an immense amount of speed, flipped off of it, and has damaged the wall at Antioch. This is happening live right now. They just announced it will be a little bit longer before the field is turned loose.
So he can get his car fixed.
They're saying Sean just said so he could get his car fixed. It looks like because there is damage to the facility that Justin Sanders caused. It looked like a single car incident. This is breaking, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening live on the show. Meta AI predicted Justin Sanders was going to lead 30 laps. He was scheduled to start fourth, right?
Yeah.
And now the whole entire show has came to a screeching halt. I believe that is Jim Allen there. Sean, are you related to Jim? No, he says no.
Thank God.
He said thank God as well. This is next level, ladies and gentlemen. The officials are still on the wall. Once again, this is happening live on Flow Racing. I can't believe this is happening. Looked like he knocked the hell out of the wall. Sanders flipped in war. No time in the work area. AI strikes again. That's funny. Cartel has to be involved. Sabotage. They are blaming the cartel. What did the NARC people do here? Oh my God, the change of things that Sean, you got to keep me updated. I got to go through my topics. This is crazy. What just happened? We are going to go through the topics though, because this watch party was interesting. They said they should involve the Chaz. Anthony Macri did pick up the win in this scenario. But this is the bigger issue that came out of Williams Grove, ladies and gentlemen. David Gravel has just basically won the championship. Because we all saw the wreck that happened. We all saw it. Logan Schuchart and Carson Macedo. Macedo running third, I believe, at the time. Logan Schuchart in the fourth or fifth position. Got into a wreck and crashed one another. And were not able to enter back onto the racetrack before the field went green. They are done now. David Gravel, I believe, ran third in the main event or fourth. Battled there with Dietrich. These are the points as they sit, not right now. Hold on, let's see if they've updated them. They haven't, but on the live broadcast, they did update the points where I believe Logan Schuchart and Carson Macedo are about 130 points back now behind David Gravel. So even though everybody's happy that Anthony Macri won the race, the points championship just took a huge hit now because David Gravel is so far gone. I don't think that anyone's going to catch him now. The World of Outlaw season is completely done and devastated. Yeah, I don't see how this is ever going to be a equal battle for the championship. David Gravel basically has to have 3 or 4 weeks where he wrecks. He has to go to Canada here and get his ass tariffed. You know what I mean, Sean? Like, he needs tariffs. We need to put This is what the solution is. World of Outlaws, take the Trump route and say, since David Gravel, you're not from PA or California or Knoxville, these hotbed areas of sprint car racing, we're going to tariff you because you're from Connecticut. You don't get to live off of our sprint car world because you come from an outside entity of the sprint car world in these areas. We're going to tariff you for the rest of the season. You're not going to make as much money. You're not going to make as many points. And something has to happen here because it's basically fucking over. The World Outlaw Championship tonight ended with that wreck between Schuhart and Macedo, the people who were in second and third of the World Outlaw point standings. Once again, this is not updated points because when they showed it on the graphic, I believe it was 134 back to Logan Schuhart. This is just devastating for the World of Outlaws season. I will say this. We're trying to do the live with NARC. We're going to be calling Broke Joe. There are some things we need to talk about. I really sped up through this World of Outlaw point situation because I think it is over now after what just happened and transpired at Williams Grove. But we did want to give a shout out to our roster. Of course, the Chaz here, we have our roster of drivers. Carson Bowden tonight was competing at the Mike Milton Memorial in Kennedale Speedway Park, or at Kennedale Speedway Park, the same KSP that the World Outlaws raced at. He did do some damage in the main event. Carson Bowden, of course, coming from 10th to finish third. Our drivers, we know they're good. Carson Bowden coming from 10th to finish third behind local area dominator John Carney III, who started first, finished first. Behind Marcus Thomas, who started third, finished second. And the little bitty team in the modified trailer, Carson Bowden, came from 10th and finished second in this 7,000 to win main event. More than Brian Brown won tonight at the Knoxville Raceway, which I want to give a big shout out to Brian Brown in the accredited verbalization he gave to the media personalities, both talking and the photographers that were on hand at the Knoxville Raceway. I want to give a big shout out to him. But Carson Bowden, we only talk about guys who are moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, tomorrow night you're going to have your Mother's Day opener at the Houston Speedway, and one of our roster drivers is Brant O'Banion. He is the full-time driver behind the 81 this year at the Houston Speedway. Going to be very interesting to see how he does tomorrow night. We're going to be all watching it on DIRTRACKR and reacting here on the channel. Once again, we're trying to go through. They're doing the 4 wide. Justin Sanders hasn't made it back onto the track, has he, Sean? But once again, Brant O'Banion going to be debuting his 2025 year with the 81 team here out of the Lincoln, Nebraska area at the Houston Speedway tomorrow night. Their opener for the year. Going to be very interesting. I'm not going to be there unless the red carpet is rolled out, and I'm fully invited to the facility, and a full apology is given to us here on the channel. And then, of course, you had your Falls Fairbury event with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, 30,000 to win. Jonathan Davenport won it. Great run by Tyler Bruning, coming from 10th to 2nd at one point. Fell back to 3rd as Brandon Shepard came up there and made it a really good race for the lead. He finishes 2nd. Tyler Bruning on the podium. And then, of course, we're going to get into this, ladies and gentlemen. NARC is going green right now. Broke Joe is on the basketball court. What is going on? We are live. We are putting your chats on the board. If you ain't watching NARC, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Hold on. We are about to see. Where is Justin Sanders, guys? What is going on? They are going green in Antioch on flow right now. I cannot believe this. We have an issue to start the race. Car not pushing off. Joey Ancona, which is connected to the Broke Joe regime. This could be some sneaky shit happening here, Sean. They are trying to get Justin back. Is that Matt Mitri or is that Sanders? Where is Sanders at? Sanders didn't come back on the track. Somebody said Sanders' throttle stuck. That's why he wrecked. Well, okay, well, the throttle stuck. Why can't they make the fucking repair? It just went on its side. It didn't, like, flip throughout the building. Are we sure that 2X is not Justin Sanders? Is that Max Mitri? Oh, my God.
They said, fuck Sanders.
Wow.
We're going without you.
They're going green off of 4, guys. Wow. We could talk about the High Limit Championship. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of not. Brad Sweet's involved. Is there a reason to watch this race right now, guys? Is there a reason to watch this? Well, no, it doesn't show Sanders in dead last. Is Sanders on the track or no? Sanders is 20th, so he's on the track. He's just at the back. Or no? What happened? It is a dusty. Hold on, we'll put the camera up. I mean, you could see it. Can you? Or can you? Is Sanders moving? No, he's still 20th. Wow. I mean, they're going at it here in this NARC race. We'll put the chat back on the screen. We are currently watching the NARC race at Antioch. We were anticipating a Justin Sanders show, but he flipped before the green flag was flown. Yeah, it looks like he is off the speedway. Wow. No, it's not better than the 9 cars at Southern Oregon Speedway. Your leader is Bud Kaeding, DJ Neto second, Kayla Montgomery is third, Sean Becker fourth, and Caden Steele is in the 5th position. Tim Kaeding is 6th, 7th, Jake Andriotti, 8th is Dominic Gordon, 9th, Billy Aton, 10th, Dominic Selzy. Neto is closing in on Bud Kaeding. Yeah, okay, Bobby Pierce ran third. I'm sorry about that. I thought Bruning held on to third. He didn't. Okay. Right now, this race is on Flow Racing. Antioch is an exciting track. I do agree. So this could still be a good race, even though Sanders is not involved. DJ Neto and Bud Kaeding going at it for the lead, nose to tail into 1 and 2 in heavy lap traffic. Neto looking to the bottom of Bud Kaeding into 3. Bud Kaeding rolls the middle. Neto trying to hold the bottom, but it's a very tight race facility. Kaeding holds the lead at the line. Kaeding up the track off of 2. Oh, Sean Becker coming. There, the shark just fucking bit him. The shark just fucking bit him, buddy. The shark just fucking bit him. Sean Becker just went 2 for 1. Your new leader is the shark, Sean Becker. Holy shit, somebody just said it in the comments. Becker off the top rope. That is right. Sean Becker's a bad motherfucker, dude. I like Becker. Halfway home, 15 down, 15 to go. Oh, Tim Kaeding just right reared Caleb Montgomery. Oh, off the top rope, and then oh my God. Oh my golly be Jesus. A new 360 rule? What are you talking about, sir? Oh, Caleb Montgomery is running over Tim Kaeding. Look. He's running him over. There's a big discrepancy between Tim Kaeding and Caleb Montgomery, the new Tanner Holmes. Caleb Montgomery has learned from Tanner, and he's trying to learn from him right now. He's a little different. Oh, my. We got him going at it here. It's the NARC. It's California Sprint Car Racing. Oh, shit. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. It's going down in the California town, ball. Shenanigans. Does anybody want to call? Lines are open. Lines are open. We got to keep this rolling. Lines are open. That's going to be a new song. We got to keep this rolling. Lines are open. Hey. Oh, my God. Tim Kaeding wrecks Caleb. I thought it was racing incident. I mean, but it was close. This is interesting now. Lines are open, 423-616-7673. Please don't be my ex-fiance or I will cry on the show. Sean's seen this before, so he's like, don't be joking like that. Lines are open, 423-616. Hey, Uncle Colin, how about you fucking call in, you little bitch? They are about to go green. I don't know if anybody can get Sean Becker off the front. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. We'll put the show on the screen. I got to get a beer. We'll do it live on the show here. Nobody's calling. The lines are open. Oh my God. Broke Joe's coming. We got Broke Joe on the line. Hold on. Come on, Broke Joe. Broke Joe is going to explain what happened to Justin Sanders. Hold on. What are y'all saying in the chat? We got to get back here to the chat. Nobody's calling. Everybody's a little bitch. When I said BK, I meant... Can we talk to Sean Allen? Oh, wow. They said it, Sean, not me. They said it.
Not yet.
He said not yet, guys. I got to pee. Hold on. Are they talking shit, Sean? Somebody said you did not answer. Well, I mean, was I gone taking a pee-pee, you know? A little douche? Oh, Sean's commenting. He's in the background. We're waiting for a call right now. We are waiting for a call. Hello. Who is this? Okay. Jamie, you sound normal, so we're not shutting you down. What's up?
I try to be normal as much as possible.
About what?
What's that?
What is what do you have to say? What do you want to call in and talk about?
Oh, you know, it's kind of sad, you know. I feel like the high limit is nothing but a piggyback off of NASCAR these days, and then we look at the World of Outlaws, and it's just sad because all it is a David Gravel show, just like it was with Brad Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, high limit has slowly become NASCAR on dirt, kind of like Disney on ice. Very similar.
Yeah.
Are you watching this NARC race?
I can't. No, I'm not watching it right now. I wasn't really interested in it because the only one was the gentleman you're talking about, the Sanders, and would you say the other guy that was in it was Selzy or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about the only interest I had in watching it. It's just, yeah.
So you more so want
I
to
was
talk
more
about
interested-
how you're disappointed in the sprint car industry right now.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not disappointed in sprint car racing. I think there's a lot of good things coming. I mean, I see a lot of promotional stuff happening at Port Royal. They seem to do a little bit better at it, but like, I feel like there's so much more to be done. I feel like there's so much more to be done on the promotional track side part of things. You know, I feel like, you know, I saw Baps do some stuff a few years ago with even the 358 series to where they had like driver intros and stuff like that, even though I know that's a NASCAR thing. But I feel like that's the stuff we can do to promote the drivers to make the sport better overall.
So then what do you think they need to do? Like, I mean, it's pretty hard to. I mean, I do think High Limit runs off the coattails of NASCAR a little too much. I think they see Kyle as their big draw. And that's pretty evident. And even Corey Day, they're trying to turn Corey Day into a Kyle Larson to sustain a future. That's what it looks like to me. But I mean, outside of High Limit, how do you sustain or do anything with the Outlaw situation? They're not dependent on Kyle. Maybe gravel is stinking up the show, but how do you make gravel? What do you do? I mean, gravel is their team is just that good right now. I mean, what do you do there?
Can you do a cool bounty thing for them?
Maybe. I think this is where, you know, Lucas Oil and the World Outlaws kind of had this issue with the late model series, and the events became more important than the actual series of championships. And that's what happens when you do these split series, because the thing that drives the entire sport is the egos of the sport. And so the egos of the sport want to say they're the best. And so the late models have been split up for a while. And if you won the World 100, for instance, in the late model industry, that was kind of more important than winning a series championship, because if you won these marquee events where everybody was there, it was more of a staple to the ego to say I'm better than everybody. Whereas I feel that's where sprint car racing is going. You hear the sprint car people defending the current scenario, and they will sit there and say, oh, well, it just adds more flair to the Knoxville Nationals or the Kings Royal or any of these events where high limit drivers and World Outlaw drivers are battling one another. And that's the bigger intrigue now. That's the benefit of the split series. The only
cool
problem with that is that the championships for the two series, when they're racing not against the late model world, the problem is they don't race 90 nights or 60 nights. They race 45 or 50. They take weeks off. So you have the big names in the building almost every single event for the World Outlaws and the Lucas Oil late models. Whereas with the sprint car industry, we're used to this full schedule of 90 or 80 races. And yeah, Kyle and them have taken some nights off, but that's only for the big marquee Outlaw shows like High Banks and National Open. So you got an issue here. DJ Neto just passes Sean Becker for the record, but you got an issue here where you might have to do something like Lucas Oil.
Why not make?
Hold on, let me make my point.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a big wreck for the lead. Oh my God. Anyway, you have giant wreck. There's a car a giant wreck there. Caleb Montgomery is in pieces on the corner. Hold on, real quick. Caleb Montgomery's in pieces on the racetrack. This is a gigantic wreck over there. Unbelievable wreck for the lead. Wrecked cars. Becker put in the wall. Everything like that. Sean, you might as well change your seat. No, I'm just kidding. But I think my point there is like, what Lucas Oil did to make their championship or their series more important is, I think, what you're going to have to start doing with High Limit or the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series sooner rather than later. I would say learn from the mistakes that the late model world made. to where their Knoxville Nationals or their Kings Royals were more important than a series. And you almost have to, instead of like put a bounty on gravel, you have to do what the Lucas Oil Series did and do a chase. You have to make it intriguing to watch this championship battle to see who's going to win it. Because when you separate Brad Sweets and Brent Marks's and Tyler Courtney's from David Gravel's and Macedo's, because who didn't want to see what Tyler Courtney could do soon in the Outlaws before all this happened? You know, who didn't want to see Aaron Reitzel on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series? You know, in a non-Roth scenario. I'm just saying, like, because you have this split now, you don't really have newer teams coming up and challenging Gravel and Macedo and Schuhart.
It's because it's so expensive.
It is. Well, I mean, late models are just as expensive, but they don't have an icon issue. Everybody's putting their money. We're building stars, and we're investing money into Corey Days in the sprint car world. We're not trying to make Scott Bloomquists. You know, Ricky Thornton Jr. and all that. It's an icon issue that's why I've been fighting the Larson scenario. Y'all need to stop trying to be Jeff Gordon. If we would have stopped trying to be Jeff Gordon in the sprint car world, we would have Chris Bell and Kyle Larson in our national series right now.
But don't we need a Jeff Gordon? I'm not saying that the idea of him, but don't we need that kind of driver that's out there doing different things culturally and out in the public eye per se?
For what though? But for what? Late model racing ain't had that guy, and they're arguably bigger. Well, World 100 sets the attendance records at Eldora, not the Kings Royal.
Yeah.
The late model world don't have those guys.
Well, so here's the question then, right? So in the late model world, who is a household name?
All of them. That's what happens. When you're not making the star of your industry a guy who goes to NASCAR, the star of your industry becomes who's the best in the cars you race. So, for instance, for Ricky Thornton Jr. to garnish Kyle Larson type of clout and notoriety, all he had to do was go up there and beat the guys in the late model divisions. That's all he had to do. I've been at the sprint car races when Kyle Larson's there and has his T-shirt trailer set up. His T-shirt line for Kyle Larson is around the fucking block, and Donnie Schatz and David Gravels and everybody's fucking 10 or 15 people. I've also been at the World 100. I don't think it was the World 100, but I'd have to go research. I've been at the late model races at Eldora when Kyle Larson has his T-shirt trailer set up. And Jonathan Davenport, Jimmy Owens, and the late model stars' line are longer than Kyle's.
That makes sense.
If our operation operated as that was the icon, and it's all, once again, it all boils down to ego. It's what the ego wants. What's going to make me feel like the cool guy? And I think the issue with sprint car racing is to be the cool guy in the sprint car world. You don't even race sprint cars. You leave them. And you go and you do the Kyle or the Gordon route or the Stewart route. I talked about this with Stewart when we had him on the show. I think it's a big problem, you know, because it kills the self-sufficiency of the sport. Back when Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell were big fucking names, Ken Schrader was running in NASCAR. Ken Schrader was running for Hendrick. But they weren't. Ken Schrader wasn't bigger than Steve Kinzer in the sprint car world.
And I remember seeing that 22 Pennzoil car, or not 22 Pennzoil car, but that Pennzoil sprint car on TNT once in a while when I was younger.
Right.
I mean,
and that's back when it was self-sufficient. It wasn't about going to NASCAR. I call it the cold trickle effect. When you research this sport on the media side and the influential side, when that fucking movie came out and made a sprint car driver who won all-star races and World of Outlaw wins, going to NASCAR and racing rowdy, when you made that bigger, when you made that cooler, than being a 20-time World of Outlaw champion or dominating Knoxville or dominating Kings Royal, similar to Scott Bloomquist dominating the World 100 and all that. When that became cool, and then you had Jeff Gordon come along and basically emulate the character of the movie 4 years later. This is why I get into the Illuminati shit. Because the movie literally talks about a guy who is from California, who raced sprint cars, who came and wanted to be an IndyCar driver, didn't have the money, and had to go race for a car dealership owner in NASCAR and started racing rowdy. That was made in 1990. They can say Days of Thunder is about Tim Richmond all they fucking want, but Tim Richmond's from Ohio. He raced Indy cars, he raced stock cars, and he won in all of these things. But Coe Trickle is Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon is the guy from California who raced dirt, wanted to go to Indy, couldn't afford it, and ended up racing for a car dealership owner named Rick Hendrick. So when these things aligned perfectly, it destroyed what a sprint car driver wanted to be. I'm sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good. It's funny, though, too, in a way, because they say about Tim Richmond, which I think in some ways it could be. But at the same time, some of that's about that Earnhardt and, was it Bodine rivalry? Like the smashing of the cars and all that stuff?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so really, I don't know. I think it's definitely about Hendrick.
I just think that's the problem with sprint car racing is like, once again, Ricky Thornton Jr. is the biggest name in late model racing. All he had to do that was go and whoop fucking ass in a late model. To be the biggest name in sprint car racing, you have to like be 14 or 16 and whooping ass, and then go to NASCAR and win a NASCAR, and then come back and bring their crowd to the sport. Like, that's the name of the industry. That's the star, right? It's not David because David Gravel or Shell or any of our sprint car dominators should be the Ricky Thornton, should be the clout chasing icon in a sense, but it's not. And I think that's the quintessential issue with the sprint car industry. That's just what I think.
So do you think, I don't know if this is kind of what we're getting at, but do you think if they created 10 events, national events, right? It would allow for, and they made a TV deal with a major broadcaster, like let's say FS1. Okay. And let's say
which Flow is already involved with, obviously. That's where the dirt series goes to.
So that would kind of they would piggyback already, because they do the dirt series already on FS1.
Right.
So if they made that kind of a deal, and World of Outlaws agreed to not count those 10 races per se in the 4 that they allotted for the drivers to use, and then, you know, the high limit could participate in those 10, that would do one thing. It would allow us to see who's the top of the top, and also maybe give an opportunity for smaller teams to use those 10 races to elevate themselves to be a bigger team, to do a possible full-time schedule.
I think that's a decent idea. I do want to address a commenter who just said Chaz was saying Larson was a NASCAR guy for like a year straight. This is also, I just want to address that before I get back to your point, because I am going to get to your point, and I think it's a good idea. The reason I was saying Cal is a NASCAR guy is because that's how NASCAR marketing was snubbing our sport. They get a really good guy up in there, and then they send him down to us. This is how they emulate, because we have to understand, most people don't know anything about racing at all. Like, when you go to high school, there's football, there's basketball, there's hockey, there's volleyball. Everybody gets to witness how these processes kind of happen. There's not racing. So racing to the average person who comes up in the school system, like I think most of us had, racing is an ignorant topic when you're dealing with most people. So I think, personally, NASCAR understood that they can emulate an NFL level. We can look like we are the pinnacle of racing in America. And then we can take drivers. It's almost like Hunger Games. We can take drivers from different sectors of society and put them in our sport and make them look superior to the other sport and kind of emulate a ranking system. This is why I always joke and say the World of Outlaws is AAA football, or it's YMCA flag football in the regular viewer's idea, because they've turned this sport into high school. Why do you think it is they come and only want to take our 14 to 16-year-old kids? They want us to think, they want to make the public think that this is where kids learn how to drive. This is where kids learn how to drive and they graduate from the sprint car world into our level. That's why they're doing the Corey Day project. And they used High Limit to do that, and in the World of Outlaws to do that. It's emulating an idea to people that sprint car racing, whether that's the World of Outlaws or the new High Limit, is where kids are learning. And a 25-year-old sprint car driver is somebody who just wasn't good enough to make it to the pros. It's an arena football player. It's a really good 6-on-6 flag football player. It's not a professional. If you're good enough, you make it here. You get drafted into the NASCAR ranks, like Corey Day, like Kyle Larson, like Christopher Bell. I'm just addressing his comment here.
Right.
My end point on that is the reason I was going for a year straight saying that Kyle Larson is a NASCAR driver is because that's how y'all need to start viewing him, because they are using Kyle Larson in that way. You don't see NASCAR sharing posts when Kyle runs 6th or 7th. You didn't see late model races being published by NASCAR NBC when Kyle's running 12th. You only see NASCAR use Kyle Larson when he's dominating, when he wins the late model races, when he wins the sprint car races. That's when they use him to instill the ideology I'm explaining right now. And I think very smart people in NASCAR who understand what I'm describing here, that's the motivation as to why they do that.
And
do you want to comment on that, or do you want me to
him.
comment on your idea? Because I think your idea is good, but...
Well, okay, so you can comment on my idea, and that's fine. But I think that to go along with that is part of the problem with that too, though, is education, Chaz. Because
exactly, 100%. It's an ignorant population.
They see like a Wyatt Miller. They see a Wyatt Miller coming down and running dirt in their terms, right? Coming down and running dirt. But they don't understand that what Wyatt Miller is running and versus maybe even what Kyle Busch is running is a total different animal compared to Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, and these guys.
Right.
So
and they also
problem.
Don't say, because this is how I would promote Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson is a elite sprint car driver whooping all of y'all's fucking asses.
Yeah.
They don't say that though. They don't want no one to know that. They don't want no one to know that either.
Even a Tyler Reddick who came from dirt.
The greatest example of an average dirt. The greatest example of an average dirt track racer who can beat NASCAR is Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe was average.
He's a
field filler on dirt.
Yeah, but he's a bad example because he's
not
that
all
good.
I'm saying is, look, this is why I say your average dirt track racer could win NASCAR races, because Chase Briscoe has. Chase Briscoe was a field filler. He didn't graduate to the next level like Kyle because he dominated it. He just graduated because he found the right guy and somebody wanted to support him. But the public don't get to learn these things. You know? I mean, this is the thing. This is the manipulation of the ignorant public when it comes to motorsports.
It is sad.
Yeah. So that's why, once again, the commenter, That's why I said Kyle was a NASCAR guy to hopefully wake y'all's fucking ass up to how this is happening, why this is happening. And then I referenced the late model world because they operate properly. Do you know the late model world raced for $20,000 to win this weekend, this week, 3 days in a row?
Yeah,
They raced for $25,000 last night and $30,000 tonight. The World Outlaws and High Limits racing for 12. I think the fucking race tonight at Williams Grove was $15,000 to win.
And they destroy a lot less stuff too, probably, if I had to guess.
They destroy a lot of bodies, and they cost more.
Yeah, but
the late model costs
body panels. Right, but they don't destroy chassis as much, do they?
No, but that's also why the sprint car should pay more, right?
Yeah, right.
You have more of a risk of equipment, and you have more of a risk of life.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying these are the reasons our own community doesn't like it. This is why I do talk against Larson a little bit, is because I think that gravel should be getting just as much clout as a Kyle. And yeah, Kyle's doing some other shit that he can't do, but it's not based on talent. It's based on opportunity. Plain and simple. Now, maybe gravel's not as good as Kyle. That's a whole nother topic. Kyle is one of the best of all time. My issue is Kyle should be a full-time fucking sprint car driver, but because this community doesn't support full-time sprint car drivers more than NASCAR drivers who are from sprint car racing, that's not possible.
Well, and I'll be real with you, too. It drove me absolutely insane. You know, they talked a little bit about Christopher Bell and the NASCAR broadcast and those types of things, like about him coming and running dirt here and there with the 69K car. And it drove me insane. What? You know, they say they don't have stories and personalities, but the reality is that story alone was absolutely an amazing story that could have been great. And they didn't even take the opportunity to do it. That kind of irritates me because, like, you see the guy like Davey Brown and those guys, you know, how long he's been doing this and how amazing they are doing this. You know, they put people in that car. You know, you saw Ryan Smith win 2 races out of the, I think, 4 that he ran?
Yeah.
And then, you know, so, like, I don't understand why that's not a story. Like, you know, yeah, Christopher Bell's coming running dirt. That's a cool story. But who he's running dirt with is just as cool and deserves to be in just as high of a Hall of Fame as Tony Stewart in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, right?
Well, so, and I think some
I don't understand
people,
why that's...
I think some people in the industry understand that's bullshit. Like I said, I've given credit to Chase Elliott. I had the same discussion with Chase Elliott in 2021 at Bristol. I've had these discussions with some people in the industry, with Kyle, but Kyle's benefiting from it. So he's not necessarily going to bark back against it because he has become this superstar. Well, once again, racing is ego based. Tony Stewart, I think, came on this show because of these talking points I am pointing out here. And I don't, here's the point. Unless sprint car racing recognizes what I'm explaining and tries to fight back, and this is the problem with High Limit, because I think High Limit is a NASCAR puppet in a way at this point. Me personally, I think that's the case, because you could draw the I's and dot the T's between High Limit and NASCAR and Flow and this conglomerate.
Right.
I think that if the sprint car world doesn't bark back at this shit and try to say what I'm saying on a bigger scale, it's only going to become a ARCA.
Okay, so let's transition to that bigger scale. What I said about the 10 races, FS1, High Limit versus World Outlaws.
Okay.
What's your comment on that?
So back to your point of match races, which I do think is a good idea. There's a few problems with it, though. The problem with it is getting everyone to sign on. That's number one.
Right. Which is sad. Because it would be amazing for everybody.
World of Outlaws is so... They are... So, when I talk about sugar daddies and old people who have a bunch of money, that is basically the fan base of the World of Outlaws. I mean, it's pretty
I don't
bad.
dis-
I
yeah.
mean, they're aiming towards the old geezers. This is being honest. They're aiming towards the old geezers who have watched the sport forever, and those are the last people in the fucking grandstands. High Limit's trying to do new shit, but it seems like they're only really doing new shit because that's the only other option they got. You know, Tri-City wasn't full of everybody. There was some empty spots in the seat. Lakeside would have Lakeside been big if Kyle wasn't there. Once again, back to the problem of the sport. DJ Neto just won the NARC race. Billy Aton, hell of a race to get up in the second. But regardless, I think that this match race is a good idea, but you got to get everybody on board for one. That's an issue. You got to get everybody on the same. To get everybody on board, I think you got to get everybody on the same goal, and that's a problem. But what I would say is for the possibilities of what you're describing coming true is my issue with, for instance, politics is I go research the investors of Trump, and I go and research the investors of Kamala Harris, for instance, in the political dimension, and I see that the same people who fund Kamala fund Trump. And it's like, hold on, this is a fake war. This isn't true. What I'm seeing on my mainstream televisions and screens is not reality. Money makes the world go round. We all can kind of agree. So when I see the money invested on both sides, it's like, hold on, y'all are playing the same. Y'all are Shakespeare and Romeo in the 22nd century. Y'all are not against each other. I'm looking at who's funding your campaigns. Y'all are both playing the same fucking game. Y'all are both funded by the same people. Hold on. Let me make my point.
Sorry.
I'm trying to get on the political spectrum. I'm just giving an example. No, you don't have to apologize. I'm just giving an example of seeing the grandest example that we have in modern society as two people acting like they're against one another, but in reality, they're not. There's a bigger entity above both of them that is controlling what they do and say. So, your hope for what you're doing and what you're saying is that the new sponsor of the World of Outlaw Late Model Series is Real American Beer. We think that's all Hulk Hogan and shit. They sponsored the World of Outlaw Late Model Series as a title sponsor. They sponsored the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series with their heat races and affiliations. The Real American Beer Company is owned. A majority influencer of that company, the majority investor, is owned by the same company that is a majority investor in Flow Racing. So the same people who own Flow Racing, who is a partner with High Limit, obviously, and NASCAR, is also sponsoring the World of Outlaws. So maybe the Outlaws and High Limit are Kamala and Trump. I don't know. They do understand that there's a lot of money to be made though, in disagreement. Trump and Kamala's and Trump and Hillary was a great example of that. Stone Cold and The Rock was too. They get up on this fucking WWE shit, and Triple H comes out and says, fuck you, and Stone Cold says, fuck you, and everybody gets on their teams and their sides and roars, and it sells tickets. It makes money. It makes things happen.
Well, right. So hear me out, though. So let's say that, okay, so for lack of better words, for, let's say, non-knowledge. We'll say that. Let's say we don't have any of that knowledge, right?
Okay, fine.
So let's say that there are two investors, that investor A, investor B.
Okay.
And one invests in one invests in the other. Why would you not want to put two teams on both sides of the football field, for lack of better words, staring at each other, wanting to whoop the crap out of the other side? That is what sells. It's great TV. It could be promoted to be all get out, and you could even have something that's a
AFC, NFC, and a Super Bowl is what needs to happen.
What's that? That's almost essentially
AFC
what
and
you
an
would get.
NFC and it's in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was saying this on the other show. You could even, or you could do it like the NFL. Like I think when High Limit gets their franchise teams, and I hope the Outlaws do something similar. Let's just say in 4 years, for instance, you have 15 franchise High Limit teams. You have 15 franchise World of Outlaw teams. We'll say we have 30 instilled teams in the industry. I think at that point, you should have a fucking draft every year. You have these matches like you're saying, but when we go into the off season, the 30 teams that are franchised and committed to these two sides, just like Raw and SmackDown, very similar to WWE and how they did it, they go into a draft. And High Limit and the World of Outlaws selects drivers from the 30 committed teams. And every year, High Limit and the World of Outlaws get a new set of 15 drivers. And then you also have these match races. You also have this NFC in this battle. So now not only have you covered the in-season entertainment with the battles, I think you could have easily 10 races between the two. And then a World Finals or something, obviously that's in Concord. That's where NASCAR, who's controlling all this, in my opinion, is going to want to have a big race. And then you have like a 3-race weekend and you have your locked-in drivers who have made it to the chase or whatever. And then, bam, a big fucking show-off between High Limit and the World of Outlaws. And we have a world sprint car champion. I think you have a really good opportunity there if you could lock 30 teams into committed franchisees between the High Limit Series and the World of Outlaws, that you could have those battles throughout the year. You could have your championship battle, your chase, whatever you want to fucking call it. But you could also have a draft in the all season where those two sides of 15 teams are drafted between the High Limit Series and the World of Outlaws, to where, yeah, you may have David Gravel be a High Limit driver, but now you may have Brad Sweet be a World of Outlaw driver. And you have 3 months of content in the offseason to create this entertainment industry. I think that's the best way of potentially marrying it all at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
The only bad part about that is allowing some open spots for guys to compete in that 10-race series, like from Australia or something like that would be cool.
Well, and that's why it's team-based, though. The teams aren't the drivers. This is all going to go NASCAR routes. This isn't going to go the NFL route, where a team is married to it could go the NFL route. You know, quarterbacks get traded. You know,
I guess. Yeah.
New players come in. You know, it's up to
But
the
does
teams
that give
at that
too
point.
much? Does that give too much control to the pinpoint entity versus like the teams?
I don't think it could be too much control, but I don't think the teams and the money men care about that.
Well, I mean, the teams might because they're selling sponsors.
Yeah, but I think it would be known at that point, if we got to that point, that sponsors and people invested into these entities are entities sponsoring the teams. You know, it's full corporatization, but I also think this is why late models pay more and sprint cars are trying to pay more to the back end, because the late model world pays more to win races.
Right.
But what High Limit didn't come out and say we're going to pay $100,000 every week. They came out and said we're going to give these teams that are on our team more money. So it's about control already. You can't just walk around and win a bunch of money in sprint car racing. If you sign up, though, for a franchise team, if you sign up, though, for a platinum agreement, now you can make more money. So it's all about control.
Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool to see? I don't know the California drivers, so I apologize. And I'm ignorant. I'm from PA. I'll admit it. But wouldn't it be cool to see a Danny Dietrich or Anthony Macri sneak in there and get one of those once in a while? And maybe encourage him to go out and do the rest of the 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that's why PA exists. I said it on the show the other day. If the national sprint car scene was paying 20 and 25 and 50 and 75,000 to win races every week, you, like the late models do, these motherfuckers in PA couldn't sit back and say that we're going to sit over here and make just as much money as if we were on the tour. The only reason the sprint car people in PA are saying, or the California people are saying we could sit back and make more money than running a national tour is because the national tours are paying $12,000 and $15,000 to win. They're not
Fair.
paying 25 and 20 and 50 and 30 and 35 and 75 every other fucking week like the late models are. If that was the case in sprint car racing, you couldn't sit there in PA and say you could make just as much.
Isn't that wild?
It is, ain't it? But I think
It
that's
is.
the difference between the sprint car world and the late model world. The late model world's more about freedom of choice. They're also, I think you gain organic stars in that. I think the sprint car world wants to control who's cool and who's not, if that makes sense. Because even though Macri won tonight, when they go to Canada next week, is Macri going to be there? Nope.
Probably
So
not.
you could control who's the cool guy, the ego. The people who run this shit, they're not stupid. They know what I'm talking about. And I think they play on that. And they want control based on that egotistical desire. And that's why they set the system up how they have in sprint car racing. Because the ego, at the end of the day, is the one thing that'll make you want to die. And unfortunately, in sprint car racing, these cars, when you strap in these motherfuckers, you better be willing to die when you do it. You know? So there's only so many things that us as people and men are willing to do to die for, right?
I mean,
That's the
Cork,
ego. It's
who is
usually,
that?
I'm just saying, it's usually an ego-driven thing.
Yeah.
We're willing to
I think
die
it's
if somebody disrespects our wife or girlfriend.
Yeah.
But what is that? Is that
Right.
ego or is that rational?
I think it's passion.
Okay, well, fine. Mix that in there too. Passion, ego, love.
Right.
But these cars are that dangerous to where every fucking person strapping in them is willing to die today.
Well, if you watch the dirt thing on FS1, the first episode, Corey Day's dad talked about that.
Right. So when you're dealing with an industry that is based on that degree of passion, love, ego, it's a fucking blender. When you're dealing with an industry that is working in that blender, you can manipulate that. You can manipulate that very easily. Corey Day and Kyle Larson, and Jade Avedizian is leaving dirt because she doesn't want to die. Basically, what they said, they think that dirt racing's they think dirt racing's too dangerous. So you're able to manipulate people out of this sport based on that fear, based on the ego, based on the passion.
Am I correct in saying that Caleb Bryson's also leaving dirt to go Kevin Harvick?
I'm not trying to keep. I don't like talking about Kaylee Bryson because I saw her get exposed in a sprint car.
Okay.
I don't know if these midget people are that good. And Kaylee's got very mad at me because I pointed out her horrible performances in sprint car racing. I think you can look really good in midgets when you're racing other kids. But when you jump into 305, when you jump into 360, when you jump into 410, you're not racing kids. So,
or is it McKenna Haas? It's McKenna Haas. I think that's going with Kevin Harvick. That might be who.
No. I think Bryson and Jade Avedizian are trying to go that route, but I don't think it's because of fear of death. I think it's because of skill. Personally, I don't think they can keep up in the sprint car ranks. Sprint car racing's pretty difficult, is what I'm trying to say. And Kaylee Bryson, she won the Silver Crown race, and everybody touts that at Belleville. But they ignore how Brady Bacon was leading the race by 6 fucking seconds before he broke in the ending stages. And they also ignore how Kaylee Bryson couldn't fucking keep up in the top 10 against USCS. They also ignore how at Belleville, Kaylee Bryson in a championship car couldn't keep up with 305 drivers. So this is why I say it's less about fear with some of these people and more about exposure. Because when you get into the USAC Midget Tour like Kaylee Bryson and Jade Avedizian, and you get into a Keith Coons ride, you're almost guaranteed to win a few races and finish well if you can drive.
Oh, there's so much money in those rides.
That's
it's
what
crazy.
I'm saying. If you're in one of them, you're going to look good. But I don't think you can do that in the sprint car industry.
I mean, you still got to drive.
Yeah. Well, hey, Tim Tebow could throw the football. Hey, I could go out here in the backyard and throw this football around. Am I throwing it as good as Tom Brady? Probably fucking not. I'm just saying, I could go over here in Knoxville and throw a football around. I could throw a football. I can drive, for instance. But can I drive as good as the best?
Out of it and see. We'll take a little bit of air out of it and see how you do. But yeah, anyhow.
I'm just saying, that's my point. You know, yeah, they can drive.
Right.
Fine. But how good are you? I think the sprint car industry will expose how good you are, and I think that's why they're getting away from it.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much for what you do. I don't always agree with everything you say, but that's how we have a conversation about things, and we talk about things and topics that even if we don't necessarily completely agree on everything, right? You know, I think that's why there's conversation. That's why it's a conversation. But tonight, you know, nothing that you said that was crazy that I didn't agree with. So, you know, I appreciate what you do for the sport and appreciate your time you put into it. I know you sacrifice a lot and do a lot. So,
well, some people don't see it that way, but I'm glad that some people do, like yourself. So,
yep. I mean, like I said, we don't always agree on everything, but hey, I don't always agree with everything Jeremy Elliott says or David Gravel when he does his podcast, but that's why it's publication is we can agree and disagree, but we still have to have a conversation.
What would you say? Because I had a guy, I wouldn't say it, Jeremy Elliott, for instance. Jeremy Elliott called me at one point and he said, Chaz, the problem with the sport is that, or the viewership, is that we're becoming the big three. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you, me, and DIRTRACKR are becoming the CNN, Fox News, and Joe Rogan of this industry. And, you know, obviously Tony Stewart and Donnie Schatz has kind of put me in that Joe Rogan instance. And David Gravel's DIRTRACKR's definitely in the Fox News or the leadership of the news segment. And then, you know, Jeremy's kind of in there. What would you say personally separates me from a DIRTRACKR or a Jeremy Elliott? I'm curious.
Okay, so hold on. I don't know if anything separates as much you from them. Who's the guy with the longer hair that does MRN?
I'm not sure. Steve Post.
Okay, so the thing that separates you from Steve Post, right? That's more what I would say than Jeremy Elliott and DIRTRACKR,
Don't
right?
you consider it different things, though? Like me, Jeremy, and DIRTRACKR, we do different things, right?
Absolutely. Totally different personalities and different styles.
So when you go to DIRTRACKR, I go to DIRTRACKR. When I go to DIRTRACKR, it's because I may have missed something and I want to know what's going on.
So what I would say the difference is that you invoke sometimes more of an opinion versus you provide facts, but it's more of an opinion sometimes than what maybe a DIRTRACKR does, right?
Where he's just kind of like, you could almost replace DIRTRACKR with another person and read the same script and get the same information type deal.
In a sense, but you provide more of a story base, if that makes sense. Like more of a story or a character, you know, versus like what DIRTRACKR does. Now, Jeremy Elliott does a little bit of a story base, but it's not like, hey, I wonder what's going on here story. You know what I'm saying? Like, what could be going on here versus what you do. Let's just like dig a little bit more. Hey, what's going on? Which I like because I'm a people person. So I want to know about the person. Like an example being is what's going on in Anthony Macri left his dad's team. That's a story, right? That's a really interesting story because we know that him and his dad raced for a long time together. You know, I go to Path Valley. His dad sponsors the Macri Concrete 600 series, which is where Anthony came from on Sundays. So all those backstories is what I find more interested in than even what happens on the track.
And that's what
Because I think it's
that's where
interesting.
I see, somebody just said Dirt Tracker's fact based. I think some of this shit
Right.
you ain't gonna get no facts about. I tell Jeremy this shit all the time. I say, Jeremy, you could talk about your facts all the time, but facts can be fabricated. They could be lied about. And I try to sit here and see a stick here and a stick there and make fire out of it, where I feel like these sticks will come out and tell you, hey, here's why the fire's happening. And that could not be true, but that's the facts you receive, if that makes sense.
How about I share some honesty with you? Sometimes I think your thing can go too far, but that's just my opinion, right?
I
Somebody
just think
else
that's
may
hilarious.
like how far that
And I
goes.
think that's why people tune in as well, because it's entertainment and comedy and
Right.
shit talk. But
Right. Stephen A. Smith.
that's what
I know you've
Gravel
been
said.
compared to Stephen A. Smith. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Or Patrick McAfee, or what's his name? Patrick, however you say his last name.
Right. But then we have some interviews that are Joe Rogan-esque. I think, the reception I've received.
The Tony Stewart one.
Yeah.
I messaged you and said how much I appreciated that because I thought it was really professional. I've seen you interview David Gravel. For the most part, it was professional. It went a little wonky, but with the whole helmet thing, but it's going to go weird. I'm interested to hear, and I'll be real with you too. I watch Billy Dietrich's channel.
Yeah, he's
and
good.
I like to watch his because he has a lot of inside baseball stuff,
Right.
And that's interesting to me too. So, yeah, I think a good mix of everybody.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that sound fair?
No,
My
it's
analysis,
fine.
so to speak.
Somebody said Chaz is more entertaining than the other two. I don't know if you agree, but I mean,
I would say more, definitely comic involved. There's definitely more
I would
so on your
say
side.
authentic
Yes.
is the best word. And the reason I'll only
Authentic?
say that is
listen,
because
Chaz,
the
let me
reason
tell you
I say
something.
that is because
If there's anything,
okay.
If there's anything that someone could say about you is that you're not. If they can say anything about you, they can't say that you're not authentic.
Right. I could
You
be
put it out
wrong.
there,
Hey,
which
but
is cool.
authentic can be wrong as well. I mean,
hey, my dad used to say, don't piss down my back and call it rain, buddy.
so you're saying I need to come out with a shirt that says "real motherfucker" and put my face on it?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say the real McCoy.
Oh,
Maybe
the McCoy. Oh, my God. That's getting too white hoodie. We can't be crediting white people because we all learned last night that if you are a ginger, you're a black man. We have to acknowledge Brad Sweet as a black man.
Okay, let's talk about that. So that to me personally, right? That to me is like kind of outlandish. That's weird.
No, it's not. A black woman said this.
I know she did, but let's face it, how YouTube
facts of what a black woman said. All right, we need to claim Brad as our first diverse champion of sprint car racing.
That's like some almost Jeff Foxworthy. If your grandma ends up on TV more than 7 times.
All my shows are registered as a comedy. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Okay.
I'd rather sit here.
Go.
Here's my deal. I'd rather sit here and wing it and talk some shit and have fun and laugh than sit there and read words that I typed out. And that's what my show is, this typed out, overthought, inauthentic. I don't want to say it's inauthentic, but I want to have fun. I think people have fun. We're about to have some pretty big, I think here very soon, some very big sponsors jump on the heels of the Tony Stewart and everything. And I think, a conversation with one of the biggest sponsors, multi-millionaire company, they said to me, we want to support you because we think that you're going to reach new people. They said, when we watch Dirt Tracker and we watch Jeremy Elliott, yeah, they're talking about the insights of the sport, but insights of the sport aren't going to attract new people. What's going to attract new people is somebody talking shit and yelling and having jokes and getting people involved in an entertainment aspect. And I kind of think that is halfway true. I do think there's a little... If you tune into this shit randomly and we're talking about, Brad Sweet being a black man, What are you fucking talking about? They're going to watch and listen to what you have to say. I'm just saying.
I agree, but the problem with that though too is outside of the sprint car world, nobody knows who Brad Sweet is.
Well, right, and we need to make sure that they know that he is a ginger kitty, first of all, and we also need to make them understand that he is a black man in this sport winning championships. That's what I'm saying.
The only thing is, I would say that may throw some people off in a negative light, but
That's fine. They can go listen to my rap songs and get over it.
that's fair.
There you go. So we're covering all edges.
So
Anyway,
right, absolutely.
I don't want to keep you up all night. Is there anything else?
No, you're good, man. No, man. Hey, like I said, I just appreciate you. Sometime we'll have to get more of a topic going, and we'll have a good chat.
We had a
sometime. I'd
good
be
chat.
cool
I
with
mean,
that.
we talked about the championship and the split and coming together and all that. The only problem with you is you said you're from PA. Now, do you eat at Rutter's or Sheets?
Oh man, I grew up a Sheets kid, so
Oh my God. Do you put vinegar on your fries?
I have in the past. But I'm not allowed to eat fries anymore. But yeah,
Okay, you're not allowed to eat fries. Do you drink Yingling piss?
I used to, but it had to have lemon in it.
Dude, I don't understand why Yingling became so popular. It is very scary to me. I don't understand it.
It's probably because it's the
my deal
closest
is I
thing
came
to
to
a non-American
PA.
beer.
I came to PA in like 2019, 2020, and they're like, "Hey, you ever had this Yingling?" And I'm like, "No," and no one knew what the fuck it was. And then if I was to go to sleep in 2020 and wake up in 2024, it's like went from this PA Amish, fucking Appalachian Mountain, fucking weird mountain people piss beer to this like national brand. Like, how did this fucking happen?
Well, the same with Rolling Rock. How did that happen? Because it's nasty too. So
Okay. We'll let you go then. Are you drinking tonight? That's the question.
No. I quit drinking back when I was 25.
How old are you now?
So 39.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Are you
I had to
married?
quit drinking. I got a little too wild in my younger days. Yeah, I am married. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're at least set up. You're doing better than me.
Well, I say better. Better is a what do they say? The eye of the beholder, right? It's all how you perceive and your perception.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's good. It's a good thing you don't drink. I mean, I was 400 pounds basically my entire life. I stopped drinking, working out, eating right, and went down to 190. And then I felt like once I found a girl that was halfway attractive, I got lazy and started drinking again and put it all back on. Not all of it.
Well, Chaz, you and I, you don't know this, but you and I kind of went down that same road because I used to be 450 pounds.
Really?
And I lost 190 in about a year and a half. And I've gained some back when my jaw was switched from not on the road as much because of COVID. So I feel you on the old weight loss thing. It's tough.
Yeah, I went down to 190.
People don't know how hard it is.
And I slowly put it back on. I'm about 280 now. I was 310 about a month and a half ago, so I've been trying to lose it as well. But yeah, people don't understand, and they think this or that, but making the commitment, most people don't do it, especially if you do it the right way. If you don't do surgeries and shit, I didn't. If you do it the right way, it's the harder way, but it's the cheaper way. Fuck, that's the honest truth. But
it is true.
It's not simple. Somebody said Bud Kaeding called out Broke Joe tonight. Wow. Anyway,
where is Broke Joe from? I never heard of his name till I watched your show.
I know he tries to say that I'm the only that my show only exists because of him. That's what he says. But
was he a crew chief at some point, or what's his deal?
I don't. Nobody knows him. He's a nobody until we started talking about him. Like you said, he owns some cars. He put Buddy Kofoid in a car. He won actually the Antioch race tonight. He won a World Outlaw race there with Shane Golobic a few years ago. Basically, he picks up little kids and takes them in his shop, and somehow they come out winning races. I don't know what happens, but that's what
God.
happens. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. That's what he accredits himself to, at least. We need to ask Chase Gratzdy's parents if it's okay if he goes to his shop, because that's who he likes now. Okay.
Anyhow, yeah, that's weird. But
It is something. But he can shoot a basketball. I will say that. He can shoot a basketball.
well, he gave you all kinds of crap about shooting a basketball.
Oh,
I saw
God.
your video twice there.
I mean, I'm still limping around a little bit. I thought I shot all right, but fuck it.
It's a numbers game.
It is. It is.
So,
It is.
well, listen, sir, thank you so much. I got to get back. I got to actually work on some work for tomorrow. So, you
Okay.
take care and have a good night. Thank you guys so much for all you do.
We will try. Thank you so much for calling
Yes,
in.
sir. Take care. Yep, no problem. Bye.
Bye. We had our first PA caller. Sean has still not made his way up here. Yes, the races are over. Sean says he's not coming up until Broke Joe calls. The number is on the screen. We are open, ladies and gentlemen, for your calls. What did Bud Kaeding say? What did Bud Kaeding do to Joe?
I don't know.
Bud Kaeding calls out Broke Joe.
Yeah, somebody commented earlier when he was talking. He must have said something about Broke Joe then too.
Did he really? Even the people in the text are saying that Broke Joe was called out. I'm in a mass text group, by the way. We're spiking all these people, talk all this shit. We apparently Broke Joe knows what Bud Kaeding said. We're calling Broke Joe right now.
Bud called Joe a keyboard warrior.
Broke Joe got called a keyboard warrior. We'll see if Broke Joe answers. We're calling him right now, ladies and gentlemen, on the show. He's probably not going to answer. He's not going to answer, guys. He's not going to do it. Bud Kaeding has silenced Broke Joe live on the show, guys.
Google Fi Wireless subscriber you have called.
Oh, my God. Guys, what happened? What happened? Oh, my God. We're texting. What did he do, guys?
Called him a child lover on the mic like
Called him a child lover on the mic like a WWE promo. What happened? Hold on. We got to have a Flow login or something. Bud said keyboard jockey. Oh, my God. We can't get an answer. Dr. Midnight, no, he didn't answer, guys. Can somebody call the show and tell us what Bud Kaeding said about Broke Joe? We are here at 1 a.m. Central Time trying to get a West Coast update. Will wants to call, but he's blocked. I don't know. What is your number, Will? Can you put your number on the screen since I have? Bud was angry on the mic. Hold on. Do we have Bud Kaeding's number? Let's see. I think we might have Bud Kaeding's number. Oh, no. Kaeding. We have Tim Kaeding's number. We don't have Bud Kaeding's number. Are we going to Facebook for this? Hold on. Let me see if I can get Bud Kaeding on the show. If Broke Joe don't want to talk, Bud Kaeding might. We are attempting to call Bud Kaeding right now. Let's see if this happens. I'm not a friend with Bud Kaeding. I just sent a request. I can't call Bud Kaeding until he accepts my request. Oh, my God. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know what to say. Breaking Breaking news. Bud Kaeding calls out Broke Joe. Can I get a Flow Racing account? I don't have one. Hold on. Can you log me in? Sean, I won't use it. Hold on, let me see. Oh no. We are trying to get the information of what happened. I need login information, Sean. This is unbelievable. What it Klaska, right? I think. What's the password, Sean? Text it to me. This is did Connie just text you to say tell him to shut up or
There's the login.
okay?
I think it's
Oh God, we are about to review what Bud Kaeding did to Broke Joe tonight. Oh my God, Bud hasn't won a 410 race in over. Bill Cinnamon, who is in our chat group, mentioned this. Did you Facebook it or text it? Oh my God, my text is not working, I guess. Okay, hold on. We are attempting to get what Bud Kaeding said about Broke Joe immediately on the show. Bud so in love with himself, Bill Cinnamon says. Can you send it on the chat group maybe? My cell reception has been acting up. He sent it to the wrong person. Great. Who is this Bud Kaeding person? Bud Kaeding is Kaeding Performance, West Coast. Tim Kaeding is a son of the Kaeding regime. Okay, that is the email I have, Sean. I'm looking. We're getting close to be able to show y'all what Bud Kaeding said. Bud Kaeding officially calls out Broke Joe at Antioch. Oh my! We're gonna have to get a beer for this, Sean. Oh my God! What has happened? How much was my butt crack on the show right there? Oh my God, guys! Oh no! Oh no! We have a password. Hold on, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh no! Of course it is. With the stars or no?
Yeah.
Let's see if that works. Oh my God, we're in, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, we're in. NARC 410 Sprints Antioch. We're probably gonna get the show flagged. Replay Antioch. Hold on. Full replay Antioch. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Oh my God. We have the replay here. Oh no. And by the way, we want to give a big shout out to Sean for providing this amazing beer hugger. Look at this. Cabela's Club, Bass Pro Shops Club. It is an amazing. I can't believe you never used this, Sean. It slips on there so good. It's the best hugger in the world. The Bass Pro Cabela's Club. All right, let's see what we got here. We are about to review the information of Bud Kaeding calling out Broke Joe. Hold on, let's see if we can bring this up. I'm not sure if we can without getting flagged. If the show gets flagged, this is worth it, I'm telling you. There's Caleb Henry. Sean Becker's wrecked. 10 to go, 9 to go. And this seems to be the victory lane here.
Jim Allen's going to talk with Neto again.
Oh,
Gonna
Jim
talk with
Allen.
a very happy driver.
Jim Allen, we know that's bad for Broke
Warriors fans,
Joe.
DJ Neto wins
fuck.
his
What did he say, guys?
second
What
NARC
did
feature
Broke
of the
Joe?
year.
Oh.
Had to really.
I really had to come, back my corners.
Here we go. We're getting to the
I don't know
point.
about this guy
all right,
right
here we go. Here we go.
32 weeks pregnant. No, 24 weeks pregnant. I was
Okay,
trying
here
to
we
get her
go,
over here
guys.
and take a
Here we
picture
go.
with me,
We're
but she
getting to
won't.
the nitty-gritty
Well,
here.
thank you, guys.
Give it for Billy Aton. He just grabs the
Here
microphone and goes
comes
for it.
Billy
and Bud
Aton,
Kaeding,
great
podium
run in
finish. I know
second.
you guys
Bud
have been
Kaeding,
working
here it is,
really
guys.
hard.
Let's hear what he
You've
said.
changed everything. Hey, you put together solid performance. You and DJ mixed it up for a while. You and Tim mixed it up. And then I don't know about this guy right here. Came out of nowhere.
While Bill got under me, I hit the wall on that last restart, and I don't know if I knocked the ladder out of it or bent the rear arm or something, but I thought the tire was going down. So then I was the left rear. So just kind of not trying to blow it off, so I lost my tire. But overall, a good night. It felt good to lead laps. I wish DJ would have hit Sean Porter and taken himself out too to give me, at this rate, then Billy would have won and I'd have got second. But it was good racing. I mean, from what we started with tonight here as a track to what it came to, it was slick use and tires, but it was a lot of fun being out there and choosing different lines. And then one didn't work one lap, and then one did the next lap, and then it was real maneuverable, really good. I want to thank Bubbles, Skippy, Big Red for sticking behind me the last couple of years. They've been tough.
Something's coming.
I'm sure that John or whatever the hell his name will figure a way to talk shit about me again tonight. But I know we started in the front row and went backwards. I know John, I'm washed up hack or whatever Jovan Schultz says. All the keyboard warriors don't come to the track and come behind the trailer door and say their piece. But again, hats off to all my guys. Thanks George with Avisa Rock, Justin with Electrical Construction Company, Vern with Missile Motorsports.
Is that it, guys?
Taking a lesser role with us this year, but still supporting us and still making sure we get into the track here. And I don't know, Dave Rios, Steve Williams, AV Solutions, Eddie and those guys, Miles with High Five Pizza, my dad for, all the support of, just motivation, good and bad. He hammers us pretty hard all the time, and it's good to get a good result. Going backwards, I know sucks. But we'll take a third. It's progress for us. I haven't been standing up here in a long time. And I know we got a gift in the heat race there with them guys taking off early on the start, getting us in front row, winning the heat, getting us in the dash. But that's racing. That's the way it goes. That's what it takes. And sorry I'm talking all night. There's a couple people left I got left to say. But I just want to thank my crew guys, their wives, my wife, my daughter Mackenzie at home for allowing me to do this.
Notice he didn't say the Chaz. You notice that, Sean? He didn't say the Chaz. He literally said Jovan Schultz at this point. Hold on, let's see if he says something else.
Sacrificing all of our time to travel up and down the road and do what we love, and it's a good group of guys. I mean, Matt and Bubbles have been with me since I started racing sprint cars, so it's a pleasure to have them here at the track with me. Jim Allen back with NARC. We're getting the series better, and car counts are getting better, crowds are getting better, racetracks are good, so keep cruising along. Thank you, fans, for coming out. Sorry, I like to talk. I'm going to end it there. I don't have to go to the scales. So we're cruising home washing, and that's it.
All right, there you did all that in one breath. So there it is.
Then Billy would have won, and I'd have got second. But
let's see what he said.
Yeah, it was good racing. I mean, from what we started with tonight here as a track to what it came to, it was slick use and tires, but it was a lot of fun being out there and choosing different lines. And then one didn't work one lap, and then one did the next lap, and then it was real maneuverable, really good. I want to thank Bubbles, Skippy, Big Red for sticking behind me the last couple of years. They've been tough. I'm sure that John or whatever the hell his name will figure a way to talk shit about me again tonight. But I know we started in the front row and went backwards. I know John, I'm washed up hack or whatever Jovan Schultz says. All the keyboard warriors don't come to the track and come behind the trailer door and say their piece. But again, hats off to all my guys. Big Red for sticking behind me the last couple of years. They've been tough. I'm sure that John or whatever the hell his name will figure a way to talk shit about me again tonight. But I know we started in the front row and went backwards. I know John, I'm washed up hack or whatever Jovan Schultz says. All the keyboard warriors.
Oh my God, he's a washed up hack. Jovan Schultz, he called you out. He didn't say the Chaz. I've had my battle with the. See, look, listen to what the rest he says here.
Don't come to the track and come behind the trailer door and say their piece.
Look at that. You don't come to the track like the Chaz does, because me and Bud had our disagreement. Obviously, me and Joe had talked about Bud Kaeding and the rivalry that Jovan Schultz has described on our shows. I was at the track. I just got out of basically fighting somebody at the bikini contest. And then I'm rolling over here and meeting Bud Kaeding and the cartel. I had a cartel meeting, Sean. I'm not afraid of the cartel. Joe is the one shooting his basketballs. I'm not shooting basketballs. I'm shooting my shit, and I'm rolling up in there and fucking saying, come on and get me. And I think I've earned respect from Bud Kaeding because I go to the track, Joe. I'm not sending Joey Bats out there to do all the damage for me. Hold on. Let's get this one more time. Let's see this. I go to the track. I think Bud Kaeding respects me due to our conversation. Here we go.
John or whatever the hell his name will figure a way to talk shit about me again tonight, but I know we started in the front row and went backwards. I know John, I'm washed up hack or whatever Jovan Schultz says. All the keyboard warriors don't come to the track.
Oh my God,
and come behind.
Fucking the whole name. He didn't say Broke Joe, John. He said Joe Von fucking Schultz. JVS. He didn't fucking talk about his name. He didn't say nothing else but his name. Because Joe, I know it's odd for you and you people out there who want to call me a keyboard warrior. When I go out and talk my shit on my shows and have Joe Von Schultz on it, I still go to the tracks. And you know what else I do? I still go to the late night sceneries where everybody's getting liquored up and getting ballsy and wanting to talk some shit. And I deal with people talking shit to me and wanting to fight me. And that area of what I do garnishes respect to where he didn't say the Chaz. He said Joe Von Schultz. I've been in the dark rooms with Bud Kaeding while they're mad at me. I've been on the phones with Tim Kaeding while they're mad at me. I've been at the dingus when Tyler Courtney and his regime is across the room and they're mad at me. I've been in the rooms in the corners where Todd Queering and his little regime knows what I'm saying and are mad at me. And I'm not afraid to show the fuck up. And that garnishes respect, Joe. While you're over there, hold on, we'll show it. While you're over there shooting, I accidentally exited out. While you're over there shooting your basketballs and talking shit about me in your shop, I literally just accidentally exited it. That's a sign from God. I have talked to Bud Kaeding. I've been in the circle with his people, and I'm talking to Bud Kaeding, and there's 5, 6 other people around that if shit goes sideways, they're ready to whoop some fucking ass, and I know it. And I'm still yelling at Bud Kaeding while he's yelling at me. And I understand the risk of the surroundings. But I'm also being intelligent in what I'm saying. I'm also making sense with what I'm saying. I'm also explaining why I feel the certain ways that I do. And even though they could be in disagreement with Bud Kaeding, in his face, while his clique is surrounding me, I think that level of risk deserves and obviously has received a level of respect from not just Bud Kaeding, but a bunch of people I've talked about. Me and Jeremy Elliott joke and say, you know, when we go on here and we talk about people, and we go into the pitting area, I quoted it or coined the phrase "walking the plank," because that's technically how it feels and what it is. You've just ran your mouth on your show, Chaz or Jeremy, and now you walk up and down the pitting area. And you let all the sharks come and bite you if they're ready to. The unfortunate, I would say, or risky thing that I do is I don't just walk the pits, I go to the dark rooms where nobody's watching. I'm not just in the pitting areas where everybody's watching and there's security guards. I walk in to the bars. I walk into the RV campground areas. I walk in to the bikini contests. I go in the corners. I get yelled at. I get physically threatened. I physically threaten back. It's called not being a bitch, Joe. And I think because of me acting that way, Bud Kaeding ain't saying the Chaz. And I think because of the way you act sometimes and you don't go and walk the planks or go to these areas, I think that's why Jovan Schriltz is being named right here. Now, Jovan Schriltz is not a bad person in essence, I don't think. I've always said he's a product of his environment. There are some things, like I said, when me and Bud Kaeding had our discussion, I said, here's some fucking things y'all ain't doing right with Joe, and here's some shit that's happened that ain't fucking right. And I said that to his face, yelling it because it was very loud, while I'm being intimidated by the group around. But that also, once again, garnishes a certain level of respect that if you're not willing to jump into that fucking water and swim with the sharks, because like Jeremy Elliott, they walk the plank. These other guys, they walk the plank. They go down the pitting areas. I walk to the edge of the plank and walk back, and then I walk back to the edge of the plank and I say, I want to fucking jump in. Once you get in the water with the sharks and you start swimming, that's when you get a different level of respect. But it takes balls. And some people don't got them. And I think some people like Bud Kaeding knows that I do. I'm not afraid. As y'all go home, as y'all stay away, as you stay safe. I think that's the difference here. Because Bud Kaeding could have easily said the Chaz and got acknowledgement, recognition, respect, national attention. He didn't say that. He knows that Jovan Schriltz ain't running his mouth. Sean, is Jovan Schriltz running his mouth on his own show?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Joe has a show that he runs his mouth on. No, you're wrong. He don't know. Jovan Schriltz comes on the Chaz and runs his mouth. That's where Broke Joe runs his mouth and makes all this noise. He comes on my show and does it. That's how it reaches people. That's how it gets under their skin. He could have easily said my name. I have a feeling I know why he didn't. Oh, my. Are we opening up the lines? Has Jovan Schriltz called back? No, he hasn't. He hasn't. So you've been dotted a few times in the past. I have by the people, not by the racing community, but I have taken the risk of being willing to be dotted. That's a difference. It's the effort. Just because you jump in the water with the shark don't mean that they bite you. It don't mean that they bite you. There's plenty of people that swim with sharks. It's a matter of respect. Let's see here. So dramatic. Just because you got the gift of the gab don't mean some mitts ain't got to teach and touch and blah, 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 blah. Listen to these fucking Broke Joe worshipers. Yeah, we already talked about Anthony Macri. He's in the hit list. Yeah, probably. I agree. Did somebody call? Hold on. Somebody did call. We'll see if they'll answer the phone. Last call of the night. It's 2-hour mark right here. You didn't answer in 3 rings. This is just like the woman off of Tinder. If you don't answer in 3 rings, I'm done with you. 661's getting 1 chance. It's 2. That's it. No more calls, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to call Bud. I'm not his friend on Facebook. Hold on. Did he accept it? Hold on. We got an update on Messenger. It's not him. That would have been perfect, though, to have Bud call in. I don't give two shits about Joe. I'm just saying you're acting like you're trying to win an award. Hey. I mean, if you feel like I should win an award, that means I'm doing a pretty damn good job, huh, Sean? They feel like I'm deserving of an award, apparently, if you want to say that. You know what? I hate Brian Hubert. You are correct. Our goal on the show this week, Sean, before we go to Canada, if we go to Canada. No, we're not getting Broke Joe. We are going to have Bud Kaeding on the show this week. I am pursuing an interview, right? Not right now, but we will be. Bud Kaeding will be on the show this week. I'm going to give the effort to make it happen. I am going to have Bud Kaeding on the show to explain his comments a bit against Broke Joe. I am going to see if he will say he wanted to fight me at the titty contest at Gold Cup or the bikini contest, same thing. We are going to put the effort towards having Bud Kaeding on the show before either we drive to Canada or jump in a jet with Donnie Schatz, which that might be an option. Because Donnie Schatz says it's really easy to get into the country if you fly in private. And once again, before we get the fuck out of here, I have to say this. Because I had too many people try to message me and talk about this. Before we get out of here, I want everyone to know this is fake. I had 3 people message me. Look at how great Kyle is. This is a fake story. The story of Kyle giving up his seat for a veteran. Kyle Larson flies private. Kyle Larson does not get on a commercial airline in his fucking race suit from the racetrack. He doesn't have 3 different fucking shirts on as he's giving up seats for veterans. So this is a fake image. But we are outside of that. We are pursuing a show with Bud Kaeding before we do or do not go to Canada, which I'm hoping we're about 85% going. We're looking at a few sponsors to jump on before we leave. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the show tonight. We are here. We have women with burgers in the background, but Broke Joe's called out. We are going to pursue the interview with Bud Kaeding before the week is over. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, watching the show. Be sure to subscribe, and we will catch y'all next time. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best